The CBC has implemented a new racially discriminatory policy of capitalizing the B in black people, but not the W in white people. So we're suing them. In June of 2020, during the height of the Black Lives Matter protests, the CBC implemented a policy of capitalizing the word black when referring to black people, but not the word white when referring to white people. For example, this is how the CBC would write, "The white woman attacked the black man." This policy is a degrading insult because it signals to the world that white people are of inferior status and that to discriminate against us is acceptable. This is part of a broader ongoing pattern of attempting to delegitimize and denigrate the identity of European descended peoples. And the fact that it's the CBC that's doing this is especially symbolic because the CBC is owned by the Canadian government, and therefore its actions have the appearance of government approval. We contacted the CBC to ask them to please change this degrading policy. They told us that the decision to capitalize black was based on the frequently voiced preferences of black people. And they told us that the CBC is committed to respecting the voices of all citizens, not just white Canadians. But check this out. Because the CBC is a government-owned company, we were able to file a Freedom of Information request to find out what citizens were actually saying about this policy. Our request produced 155 pages of information, which was not consistent with what the CBC was telling us. What we found was that the overwhelming majority of Canadians said exactly what you'd think we'd say. Canadians said that this policy is petty, blatantly unequal, insulting, lacking impartiality, discriminatory, not inclusive, degrading, highly unfair, racist, offensive, biased. And they implored the CBC to capitalize both or capitalize neither. Show the same courtesy to people of fair complexion that you show to people of color. If you're going to do it wrong, at least do it consistently. Do not capitalize black unless you capitalize white. Black and Indigenous are capitalized, therefore white should be capitalized. Either capitalize the W in white or make the B in black lowercase. Again and again, in different words, Canadians expressed the desire for a non-discriminatory policy. We found that there were 5 letters in favor of capitalizing black, but not even those said anything about treating white people any differently. There was not a single letter in favor of a racially discriminatory policy. So rather than reflecting the voices of all citizens and not just white Canadians, it seems like the CBC is ignoring the voices of citizens, especially those of white Canadians. The CBC provides a service to the public. That service is provided in a racially discriminatory fashion. To distribute services in a racially discriminatory manner is in violation of the Canadian Human Rights Act. Therefore, through the Canadian Human Rights Commission, we're suing the CBC for racial discrimination. We're not asking that they stop capitalizing black. All we're asking is that they stop discriminating. That could mean capitalizing white, or, and this is our preferred choice, is that the CBC not refer to us as white people at all, but as Europeans or European Canadians. The same way the CBC uses the geographic term Asian to refer to Asians. These kinds of attempts to delegitimize white identity are aimed to discourage our political participation. We hope, however, that this episode will have the opposite effect, that it will increase for European Canadians their consciousness of their distinct ethnic identity, an identity which is no less legitimate than that of any other group, and that they will not hesitate to express and defend that identity with confidence and pride. If you also oppose this discriminatory policy, you can sign our petition. The link is in the description. If you want to keep your name anonymous, there's a button you can click to do that. You can also write to the CBC Ombudsman yourself to express how you feel about this policy. For a more in-depth analysis of this case, you can listen to our podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and SoundCloud. Or to review any of the documents referred to in this case, or to donate to our cause, you can find more information on our website at swciv.com.